All right. Well, very good. So let's welcome on our next guest on the show tonight. We were chatting, and they didn't know each other too well, but we were chatting with Daniel Moskos earlier in the program. He was the pitching coach for the Chicago Cubs. And now Matt Mervis, who formerly of the Chicago Cubs organization, is joining us. Matt, thank you so much for taking some time for us tonight. We'll start with Monster Jam. You a Monster Jam guy? You diving into the Gravedigger? What do you have for us?
I've never been, but I've always, whenever those clips pop up on Instagram or whatever, I always watch. So I'm excited to see what they got.
Would you get in the driver's seat? Would you take one for a spin, do a backflip maybe?
Maybe in a simulator. I don't know if I would do the real deal.
All right. Against contract negotiations. I get that. Against the contract rules. Matt, I got one for you. And Steven, take it away after this. Welcome to Miami. We saw you a couple of years ago, got your first big league hit against the Fish. I remember it well. It was at Wrigley Field. How excited are you to get this opportunity now with the Marlins, man?
I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for me. I know a few people. You mentioned Moskos. I know Conine very well. I know Graham Pauley, Alon Leichman, the new pitching coach, the other pitching coach, along with Moskos. So I think it'll be a pretty good transition for me, and I'm really excited for the opportunity.
Matt, what did you learn about yourself in Chicago? I know that you had hoped to had a bigger impact, but you've had such a really good minor league career. What did you learn from being a Cubby?
I learned a lot. Obviously I struggled a good bit last year. Hit the ball hard, just had some bad luck and some swing and miss in 23. So just, the more at bats I get, I think the better off I'll be, and just learning to, stick to my plan. I like you said, I have good minor league numbers, and the last 2 years I've gotten to the big leagues and tried to kind of prove it rather than just letting the game come to me. So that's my plan this year. Just stick to what I'm good at and let the results happen.
How's the offseason been for you, particularly with just, the trade to Miami?
It's been really good. I think, the change of scenery will be good for me. I finished up the last 5 weeks last season coming off of injury. So just really getting healthy, making sure my body's moving properly, getting some strength back in the hand that I broke, and just really getting back into the swing of things.
Matt, did the trade catch you off guard a little bit?
So I was on a flight, actually. So definitely caught me off guard. I didn't have Wi-Fi for the first hour of the flight, and I guess the trade happened like immediately after we took off. So it was a Sunday, football Sunday, so I bought the Wi-Fi to watch Red Zone, and I got a couple texts from one of the Cubs assistant GMs, my agent, and actually R.M. Layton, who I'm friends with, the owner of Just Baseball, and they all text me saying, "Hey, you need to answer the phone. Call us when you can." And so, yeah, I was definitely caught off guard.
And
where were you headed?
Very close. Oh, sorry, Steven. Go ahead.
You're not going to believe this. I was headed to Fort Lauderdale, so I was very, very close to the stadium. It was my dad's birthday, so we just spent a couple of days down there. But I could have taken the drive right up to the stadium if I needed to.
Do you tan well, Matt? You got to use a lot of sunscreen.
No, I'm a tanner. I have some foreign blood in me, so Middle Eastern blood, so I tan well.
Wow. Okay. Now you mentioned Aram Layton, who runs Just Baseball. You're close with him. Aram also extremely close with Griffin Conine. You guys went to Duke together. A lot of Griffin questions. Did he always look this jacked in college? He takes that shirt off in the clubhouse. It's like, whoa, baby. He was in the weight room doing chest today.
That's what he's always looked like as far as I can remember. I think I walked in freshman year, and it was like, this is a different level of baseball as soon as I saw Griff.
So it's actually funny, Matt, to get on a serious note, like Griffin, very similar to you, like put up big numbers, and then last year finally gets his chance to come up and has an impact. He obviously is with the Marlins now. Do you guys have those conversations like when you are traded, like Griffin's like, well, listen, now it's, your turn, or here's kind of how I was able to do it?
Yeah, we've talked hitting a bunch over the last few years, and actually Arm's included in a lot of those conversations. But we're similar hitters. We're big power hitting lefties. But obviously we both want to cut down on the strikeout rate and hit for more of an average too. So there's a lot that goes into it between the two of us and a bunch of our other Duke hitters that work together and bounce ideas off each other. But I think the main sentiment was excitement. We were just pumped to be teammates again. Adam Lasky, who's in AA last year at the Marlins, was my college roommate. So we're going to get a spring training house for a few of us, and just happy to be back together.
So your new home, Lone Depot Park, you've played there before in 2023 with Team Israel. What was that experience like for you?
It was a ton of fun. I mean, that was the first experience I had in that kind of environment with, full stadium, passionate fans. Obviously, that was before my debut, so that was kind of my introduction into the big stage of baseball. And I loved the stadium, the fan interaction, everything about it.
Matt, you mentioned a fresh start. I'm sure you've had amazing coaches. You were a part of an iconic organization, made your major league debut at Wrigley Field, something you'll obviously never forget. But when you talk about a fresh start, as you've thought about that, you've processed all this, what excites you the most, man?
I think it's just the overall being in a new place, having the opportunity to reestablish myself. Absolutely nothing negative to say about the Cubs and how they've treated me. Just, sometimes guys need a change of scenery to have things click. And I'm hoping that's what's in store for me.
Have you had an opportunity to chat with Pedro Guerrero? I know he's reached out to a lot of guys.
Yeah, I've talked to Pedro. I've talked to Derek and Joe, the hitting director. So I've had a good conversation with all three of them. I think they have a pretty good plan for me once I get down to spring training. I've told them what I'm working on, and they're on board. So I'm excited to get rolling.
When you talk about working on things, this is probably going to go a lot of different directions. I apologize. What type of player are you, man? Like, you want to see every piece of analytical information to make you better? Do you just take the game on a more human level, try to fix your swing as the way things feel? Like, I know we're in a day and age where there's so much information available to you, man, and there's so much to ingest if you want to. What type of player are you when you're looking for that feedback and stuff?
I think when I'm going best, I'm more of a feel hitter. I just kind of, let the swing happen and trust it when I'm in the game situation. I probably get myself into a little bit of trouble because I do like the analytics and video and stuff, but it's hard enough to hit in the big leagues. You make it harder when you're thinking about your swing and how you want to hit certain pitches. So I think I'm much more of a feel hitter, especially when things are going well.
I always feel like a teacher when I ask this question, but like, what are your goals coming into this year?
Just get my at-bats and improve, really. I don't like setting number goals because if I don't, hit for a ton of power in the first half of the season, I don't want to sell out for power in the second half. So
sure.
I won't put a number on anything, but, just have a good season in general, whatever that may look like, whatever my role is, just do that well and help us win.
I had a just question, and if I'm also going too far, do you tell us? But I'm always curious with baseball players because I could never do it because mentally I just couldn't handle the failure, and then go 3 for 3, feel like you're figuring something out, and then go hitless for 10 straight games. How do you deal with failure?
That's something that I've had to work on a bunch. It's a hard game. It's a mental game, and there's different ways that guys get through the failure, whether it's, take your mind off the game for the night or a day or two and just regroup. I find it best to talk to people, just, distract myself, whether it's my girlfriend, my parents, my friends, go get a dinner with a couple teammates, whatever it is. Typically on those dinners, guys don't talk about baseball. We just kind of, get away from the game a little bit because the season's so long. So, those are my outlets during the year.
Who was like your veteran with Chicago that kind of took you under their wing?
Early on, it was Eric Hosmer, who's the man. He's awesome. He's such a good dude. Was very, engaged in spring training and when I got called up and just helping me prepare myself, get ready. And then my locker was next to Dansby's in the major league clubhouse. So, and he was the same way. He was just, obviously he's a competitor, he's a winner. So anything that he can help me do to help the team win, he wanted to share with me. So I had two pretty good guys to look up to.
Matt, I love when we get to know more about you guys on a personal level. You grew up in the DMV area. A lot of fellas grow up playing some hoops, man. Why baseball? Who got you in love with the game? And I guess on the back end of that, when did you really start to take it serious? We're like, I want to be a professional baseball player. Not everybody's wired like that.
Yeah, I got to credit my brother for the sports influence. He's 2.5 years older, and he controlled the TV remote. I didn't have a say in it. So, when he wanted to watch Sports Center, that's what we did, and I just fell in love with sports from there. I played a little bit of football and basketball growing up through my freshman year of high school, but you know, I was never going to be a basketball player. I just didn't love it as much as the other two, and my freshman year playing football, I kind of jammed my wrist blocking and had to miss a tournament or two on the weekends. And I was like, it's time to give that up and just focus on baseball.
You got to be a little off to play football, in my opinion. You got to have a little loose screws. You got to be able to run into a wall and not have any reaction.
You can see the guys in the locker room that were serious football players, and just tell they're wired a little bit different.
Matt, when did you start to separate yourself as a baseball player? There are a lot of guys. I know not everybody's like Bryce Harper playing 8 years, up a level. But like, were you young and like Matt Mervis always stood out on the little league field, and then high school? Was that always kind of the case for you?
Yeah, I think I was always one of the better players on the field. Especially, I was big always growing up, so that helps. I always threw a little bit harder. But I probably didn't separate myself until high school. I had 3 ACC baseball players on my high school team, and there were no freshmen. In my high school class, so we all came in together, and a couple other Division I players. So we had a really good JV baseball team, and as we developed over the next 2 or 3 years, we could tell that we had a really good group, and it was better than like the Maryland high school baseball group.
When'd you hit your first home run?
Not until I was like 12, I think. I was always jealous of the kids that could hit balls over the fence when I was younger, because I was always big, but I was a line drive hitter growing up. I just wanted to get hits. So it took me a little while.
And who was your guy growing up as far as baseball players?
I love David Ortiz. Any left-handed slugger when I was growing up, Prince Fielder, Ryan Howard, you name it. But for some reason, I always found myself watching Ortiz videos.
So you played a little bit of football. You mentioned you were on a plane. You bought the Red Zone. You're from the DMV area. Are you a happy camper? Are you a Commanders fan? Like, did you win your fantasy football? What's the deal here with the football side of the Matt Mervis thing?
I am a Commanders fan. It's finally
Congratulations.
the first time in my life, a good time, besides RG3's rookie year. It's finally a good time to be a Commanders fan. Very exciting. Came in second in my fantasy league. I had the first overall pick, and I took McCaffrey, so I am pretty proud that I still finished in second. Yeah, I had a pretty good waiver wire year, but couldn't finish it off.
How do you feel about the matchup against Detroit?
I'm hoping the bye week threw them off a little bit, like the college football playoff teams. But the offense is going to compete. I'm just hoping the defense will get the ball back.
You didn't realize how much happiness Jaden Daniels was going to bring you, did you, man?
I did not. I mean,
I don't think anyone did, honestly. There was so many concerns about his small frame and everything, but if you can play, you could play.
He's like Lamar. I mean, they just don't get hit. They find ways to avoid contact and stay healthy. So,
what's the offseason look like for you? What are we, a month away till pitchers and catchers report, basically? When did you start your offseason program? And once you get to spring training, the days can be long. Guys, you want to keep fresh. You don't want to grind yourself into the ground. Like what does this all look like for you?
Yeah, I think I took probably a week or two off from the weight room after the season ended, just try to let the body rest a little bit, and then got back in there. Hitting, I took a little bit longer off than I have the last couple of years just because of the hand injury. Just wanted to make sure that I was rested and back to full strength. But I'm up to hitting. This week will be my first hitting 4 times. It's been Monday, Wednesday, Friday before this, and I'm working out 4 days a week, doing some mobility stuff on the other days. So it's a full schedule, but I'm feeling good.
I might be ignorant not to know this, but what happened with your hand, Matt?
I broke my hamate right around July 4th.
Okay. Wow. Which hand?
Yeah.
Right hand.
Right hand. Okay. What was that process, the rehab process like?
It's honestly pretty simple. I had the surgery, and then after that, it was 2 weeks with stitches. Once the stitches come out, it's just about strengthening the hand and pain tolerance getting back into play.
Matt, can you take us? I think Stephen brought this up a little bit, but like the failing side of baseball, it's like it never ends. You're trying to like achieve what seems to be, unsustainable, which is perfection. You're not going to do it. How long did it take you to learn that, like, I'm going to fail, but I need to learn how to, harness the failure and turn it into good things?
Yeah, I'm still learning it, honestly. It's a constant process, and I think once I learned to, remove myself from the individual at bat of the failure and, kind of zoom out a little bit, learn from what happened, what went wrong, learn the game plan a little bit better, adjust a little bit quicker to whether it's, a certain team's approach to get me out or a league-wide approach, whatever it may be. It's a lot easier to move on from the failures when you look at it from a wider lens than from analyzing every individual at bat.
Matt, you're you're a young guy, and now you're an old man on this roster. Are you in a comfort role of leading? Like, I know you've had some great role models around you in Chicago, but are you a natural leader? Is that something that you look forward to doing in the clubhouse this season?
Yeah, I think I am. It's and part of that's credit to just being a bigger guy growing up. You kind of just get the attention whether you want it or not. But I've had that role for a few different teams. Last year in AAA we had a few older guys to start the season, but just over the course of the AAA movement, there's so much that goes on there. I ended up being one of the oldest guys by the end of the year, so I had to assume that leadership role again. And I think it'll be fun. It'll be a fun young group. I think a lot of guys will have plenty of energy and excitement to show up to the ballpark every day and hopefully spend some time with each other in the locker room, pregame, postgame, and off the field. So it'll be a lot of fun getting to know these guys and going through the season together.
Got a couple more left, Kyle. Your dad is in Fort Lauderdale, if I'm not mistaken.
That was just vacation.
That was just vacation. Okay, because I was curious, man. That's a nice little getaway home for the winter. Have you explored Miami at all? Are you a Miami guy?
And the only times I've been were the college trip to the U and the World Baseball Classic. So I've done very little exploration, but in the few trips I've had there, it's been awesome.
I'll give you some good date night spots to bring the miss.
I need those.
All right. Kyle, go ahead.
Happy wife, happy life, Steven. Steven recently married. Matt, you have a girlfriend. See what transpires there. Hey, this might be a little premature. Do you intend to play in the World Baseball Classic again if you have the opportunity?
Absolutely. I would love to, and I've been doing my best to recruit a little bit. I know Alone will do the same thing, and it's right at home in Miami in 2026. So I won't have to do the cross country flight again. I'll just drive over the ballpark and it'll be like another day.
Can you peel back the curtain a little bit for me? I'd love to know what this spring training house looks like. And are you guys gathering around the TV playing PlayStation or Xbox? And what's this look like at nighttime in this spring training house, Matt, in this bachelor pad?
I couldn't tell you. I've been in Arizona with a different group the last couple of years. So, we're all friends, but we all interact differently. So I'm sure it'll be plenty of college basketball that time of year.
Okay.
We'll have to find a place to watch the Super Bowl somewhere, but other than that, got to see what happens.
Imagine the ladies walking into that house. The girlfriend walks in.
Hey.
You boys are so messy. Oh, I can see it now. Keep the place clean, Matt. Keep her happy.
That's the plan. I'll do what I can.
Are you a Mario Kart guy? I can just envision you guys playing Mario Kart on the Wii during spring training at night. Do you play video games or?
I play a little bit. I'm not a big gamer, but if there's 5 guys living in a house, then we're gonna have to figure something out. So
What about growing up? Did you do MVP baseball? Did you do Little League World Series? Anything?
MVP 2005 is my favorite game with Manny on the cover. My favorite game ever created. I played some of that NBA Street. Love that. Other than that, a little bit of Call of Duty, but mainly sports games.
This is a guy that has intimate knowledge of the PlayStation 2 system, Stephen, by the sounds of things.
That's what I grew up on.
Yep. Are you a Cameron Crazy? You have any videos you could share with us? You going nuts, shirtless in the Cameron Crazy section from college?
I wish. We practiced and lifted in the afternoon, so by the time we finished up, it was hard to get there by tip-off. But the Duke baseball locker room is underground in Cameron Indoor, so we would typically just put the game on TV and mute it and listen to the stadium, the noise just through the floor pretty much. We were always a little bit late on TV, but we got the excitement.
I didn't know that the locker room would be under Cameron. That's insane.
It is for now. I think they're going to do some renovations soon, but yeah, that's where we were.
Who was there at the time?
My freshman year was Tatum, Harry Giles. Junior year was Zion, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think senior year was that might have been Derek Lively, or I might be missing a year.
Well, was that 2020 what?
2020.
2020?
Yeah, I think I'm missing a year in there.
I have a real problem on my hands tonight for the viewing audience. We're recording this on Tuesday. I am a graduate of the University of Miami, Matt, and the Duke Blue Devils are a 24.5-point favorite over my Canes tonight, 2 years removed from a Final Four. It's a dumpster fire. It's a disaster. And what's that fella's name? The big kid, this sensational freshman?
Cooper Flagg.
Oh, God, he's going to do things I've never
man.
seen before tonight. This is going to be
that
so
dude is
sad.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's coming off. I think he had 42 maybe last game. So,
well, you can double that because tonight's going to be a spectacle.
So this 2020 roster features Matthew Hurt, Wendell Moore, Mark Williams, and Jalen Johnson. Does that ring a bell?
That does, yeah. I think Jalen Johnson maybe left the team during the season, but they still had a pretty good run.
Yep. And then 2019, Vernon Carey, Trey Jones, Cassius Stanley. Wow.
Yeah, that was my sophomore year.
Okay. Well, the point is, you guys had some great basketball teams. So give me your Mount Rushmore, or at least give me your 4 teams that rank in fandom for you. Commanders being 1. Who's number 2? Who's number 3? Who's number 4? I don't care the sport.
Commanders obviously number 1. The Duke University football team has been excellent the last 3 years. We're really excited about what's going on there. Just got a really good transfer quarterback. Number 3, say Duke basketball.
Okay.
And number 4, I don't really have one. Those are my main 3. I'm not a big I'm not a big NBA fan. I'm not a big NHL fan.
No soccer.
No soccer. No, I'll say my girlfriend's family is a University of Tennessee fan, so I'll keep them happy and throw them in there.
Okay.
That's nice. You guys, this is probably not the interview you were expecting, Matt. I'm sure you were expecting us to talk a lot more baseball, but now you've piqued my interest. Manny Diaz, who coached down here at Miami, they paid a lot of money for Darian Mensah, huh? Is that the Tulane transfer?
That is, yeah. I'm not going to call myself a guru, but when the portal opened, I said that's the guy I want. So I'm happy with how things have worked out. I know Manny's done a really good job in the portal and in recruiting. So, yeah, we're excited about the ACC and hopefully the playoff pretty soon.
This is amazing, Stephen. 2 interviews, Major League Baseball oriented. Daniel Moskos dives into Dabo, finally dipping his toes into the transfer portal. And now Matt is knee deep in the transfer portal. Do you wish you were in college today? What's your NIL package look like, Matt Mervis?
Probably $0. Just
No.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Whatever the electrolyte brand of the year is, they'll give me some free packets and tell me to post an Instagram story. But I don't know what it looks like in college baseball, but I can tell you I wouldn't have gotten anything.
Maybe a nice Honda Accord, local Durham Honda dealer, maybe up there.
I'll take it. I don't know if
Four-door.
they're giving out cars, but I'll take one.
All right, for our this is my last one because there's always a good story behind when someone's doing an interview in a car. Okay, for our audio audience, obviously it's myself, Steven, hello, Kyle, and Matt is doing this interview in his car. Okay, our visual audience will see this. Where are you, and what are you doing in your car?
Well, I'll start by saying that I missed the beginning of this interview, so I apologize.
No problem.
And I was about to leave the gym when Kyle texted me and said, "Hey, are you going to join?" So I just, I had to come to the mall with my girlfriend to take care of some holiday returns. And so I just got here a little bit early and parked as far as possible to not have any distractions.
Do you have gift opening anxiety? Like when someone gives you a gift, you feel the need to, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted, but like you really didn't?
Well, I had my third Christmas this year. This is, I'm in year 3 of my relationship with my girlfriend, and I've been to her house 3 years now for Christmas. And because I'm so new to the holiday, it's her niece, the 2-year-old niece, gets the most presents, and I get the second most. So I always feel, as a 26-year-old, I feel guilty that my girlfriend's parents are spoiling me so much on Christmas. But I make sure to say my thank yous and express my gratitude. Okay,
so you're double dipping. You're dipping into Hanukkah and Christmas, aren't you, Matt?
Yeah. Hanukkah's not as big for us as it used to be. Now that, again, I've experienced plenty of those, but Christmas is the new, feel like a kid again during Christmas.
Okay. All right. And now the returns that are taking place, are these returns going right back on your credit card? You're making out like a bandit, or do you say, honey, take the money, go buy whatever you want?
One of them is going back on my credit card at Lululemon, where my girlfriend just so happens to want to do some shopping. So the money will be added back on and be taken off of my credit card within a matter of minutes.
Wow. All right, Matt, listen, the more I think about this, it's at some point down the road, we'd like to get you back on, maybe chat a little baseball, but I've loved this interview.
Me too.
I would, maybe we get you on after the spring portal season closes. We'll see where Manny Diaz and the boys are at in Durham. We'll put a bow on that. We'll get ready for week 1. We'll chat with you in August as your fantasy football draft takes place. We'll stack you up. In the meantime, man, enjoy the heck out of Miami. I know we're thrilled to watch you. Best of luck, and we can't wait to meet you up there in Jupiter, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I really enjoyed it as well.